for my front players, for whoever.
Scoring! But has got Grealish if he needs it, but this is a thrusting surge. That's top quality!
With an alligator, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean I make medicine sick.
A new world record for Usain Bolt!
Lionel Messi!
Oh my goodness!
Lionel Messi! Superhuman!
Michael Duncan against George Owu, and Michael Duncan scores! Us are the champions of the Confederations Cup! Glorious Stars have lifted the trophy!
Outstanding!
Stars have lifted the trophy!
I have wrestled with an alligator, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean I make medicine sick.
A new world record for Usain Bolt!
Lionel Messi!
Oh my goodness!
Lionel Messi! Superhuman!
Michael Duncan against George Owu, and Michael Duncan scores! Us are the champions of the Confederations Cup! Glorious Stars have lifted the trophy!
All right, today is the 5th of April, 2025. It's another Saturday. Good morning and welcome to your weekend's most insightful and thought-provoking sports analysis show on radio here on Asaase 99.5 in Accra, 99.7 in Tamale, 100.3 in Cape Coast, and 98.5 in Kumasi. My name is Ekoe Silfi, and our show is very much interactive. You can join us on Facebook, Asaase 99.5. We're also live on X and on TikTok, all on Asaase 99.5. Our WhatsApp line very much active, 020-0000-995. That's 020-0000-995. You can also join us on Facebook. Coming up today, sports development in Ghana and the management of sports facilities in the country. We'll be having a personal one-on-one with a senior lecturer and a former director of sports at the University of Ghana, Dr. Bello Bitugu, who will wade into his personality and professional journey and the role he's played in the development of sports at the University of Ghana. And I'm reliably informed that he's been tasked to manage the newly developed University of Ghana Sports Stadium. And we ask what kind of sports development Ghana needs as things stand now. You don't want to miss a fraction of that interview. It's going to be exciting this morning here on Team Talk on Asaase 99.5. We'll also be talking about the devastating news of the death of the Nigerian boxer and what the latest is after the sports minister Kofi Adams pledged to set up a committee to investigate the circumstances that led to that unfortunate death, because the Nigerian Boxing Board of Control is accusing the Ghana Boxing Authority of a fatal error. We'll hear from the Secretary General of the NBBC. We'll have the Ghana Boxing Authority's Communications Director, Mohamed Amin Lamti, joining us to give us the very latest on that. It's March week 26 of the Ghana Premier League. We'll do a preview plus the fixtures with Kotoko holding a 1-point advantage on the log. But I can tell you 6 or 7 other teams are all in the title race as things stand now. Later on the show, we ask, Kevin De Bruyne will leave Manchester City after 10 years when his contract expires at the end of the season. Is De Bruyne City's greatest player in the last 10 years? Now, he's won 16 trophies since joining from Wolfsburg in 2015, including 6 Premier League titles and the Champions League. Is he one of the greatest midfielders to ever play in the English Premier League? Very much would love to hear from you on that. Later on, we'll delve deeper into his career at Manchester City. 020-0000-995. You can as well get onto our Facebook page and share your thoughts with us on whether Kevin De Bruyne is one of the greatest midfielders the EPL has ever seen. And then we'll bring you highlights of the weekend's European League action. Can United do a double against City for the first time in 5 years? We have the Manchester Derby in Spain. Barcelona's 21-game unbeaten run faces a test today against Real Betis. We'll bring you all the European League fixtures as well. In other news, Thomas Müller will leave Bayern Munich at the end of the season after 25 years at the club. He's won 33 trophies and is the club's record appearance holder with 734 matches. Well, he's also another legend leaving Bayern Munich. In Formula One, we'll have a weekly update today, the very latest from the Japanese Grand Prix, as Max Verstappen stunned his own Red Bull teammate and rivals McLaren by grabbing pole position from Lando Norris. We've got all of that here on the show today. As always, it's a packed show and you don't want to miss a fraction of that. Just keep your dials locked in here. It's Team Talk here on Asaase 99.5. My name is Ekoe Sylvia, and together with the team, we're sure to deliver another insightful and thought-provoking show here. We're live across the world on the internet as well. Just get to the internet, AsaaseRadioOnline.com and AsaaseRadio.com, and you can listen to us live wherever you find yourself on the planet. Already joining me in the studio is Mr. Kojo Tay, who is a F1 Ghana Club member, a fan of Ferrari, clad in his Ferrari t-shirt and cap, already seated. So we'll go straight to him and then bring you the very latest from the Formula One or the Japanese Grand Prix, where a lot has happened. Red Bull and McLaren have been stunned by Max Verstappen. They'll give us more on that and all that transpired in the result that we are seeing right now. Mr. Kojote, good morning and thank you for joining us. How are you?
Thank you very much. Good morning, Nicole. And thank you. Good morning, listeners. I'm very happy to be here.
All right, good to have you in the studio. And so straight away, let's talk about what happened or what has happened in the Japanese Grand Prix right now. Reports are coming in thick and fast. What can you tell us with what happened?
Yes, as expected, McLaren were doing their own thing. Lando Norris, Piastri.
Yeah.
From nowhere, Max Verstappen, who I think Max Verstappen has a mojo, a spirit that, you know, when it comes in, you just can't stop the man. He's the man of the moment. When you look at the generations as they hand over, he is the lead pack for the current generation of young and brilliant drivers who are up and coming. You know, so I think he probably thought, no, let me just do my thing one more time. And surprisingly, out of nowhere, he came and took pole position, snatched it at the last minute. It was very impressive. Yes.
Now, did you see that coming?
To be honest,
Did you give him a dog's chance, going into this particular race?
yeah, to be honest, coming to Japan, it was all about McLaren and the power they had in their car, and much wasn't expected from. Actually, I think the whole weekend was so engrossed with the switch from Yuki Tsunoda with so everybody was kind of concentrating on that switch, and nobody really was taking notes of Max. So on the quiet, I'm sure he had the opportunity to, psych himself up without any disturbance from any quarters, because everybody was talking about Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda. So normally when you have the space and the time to do your own thing, you get better results. Yeah.
And I understand that Lando Norris has accepted that. I mean, Verstappen was deserved it. I mean, because he was lagging behind until even in the final lap. I'm sure you did watch the race.
Yes, sports is a very brutal and unforgiving. Then it's life in the sports world is very unforgiving. You see it in every sport, boxing, football. I mean, we watch the matches, the UEFA matches. Look at what happened to Real Madrid and Atletico. I mean, Real Madrid come from nowhere and they snitch it. It's like, wow. And it happens in Formula One as well. Yeah.
But what is this about the grass fire concerns at the Suzuka? Yesterday we had reports, and I'm hearing this this morning. It continued along the line. They had to even take a break along the line or something.
Yeah, there were some red flags. They stopped races for about 20 minutes to get these fires under control. Suzuka, the time frame from Suzuka has been switched.
Okay.
It wasn't normally within this time. It was later on, I think in August or so, that Suzuka comes on.
Okay.
But because of typhoons and windy, gusty weathers during that time, they brought Suzuka to this time.
Okay.
And now they're experiencing hotter temperatures. So as these cars fly by dry grass, sparks, embers from the heat, sparks, embers from the exhaust trigger these fires. You know how these bushfires start, a little spark and then there. So suggestion is that they dump in close to race time, they will dump in the grass in corners where it's likely to fire is likely to start.
Okay.
So that's what we're looking at. Otherwise, we just have to see how it goes.
Okay. Okay. Your team, your favorite team, Ferrari, and of course Mercedes were not in the battle for pole. Did it come to you as a surprise?
Actually, I'm impressed with the Mercedes team. Russell is doing quite well. He's always been in the mix. Nothing sensational yet this season, but yes, Mercedes is doing quite well. They are always there at the top, and qualifying, they qualified very well for Suzuka tomorrow. Ferrari, let's just say it's a dynamic team. Now we have Lewis Hamilton, who, with all the experience and everything, for him, Ferrari is also new. So we'll take it that even though he's a master of the game,
it will
he's
take time for him to really.
He's a learning curve. Charles Leclerc, darling poster boy. He's still there doing things his own way. So I feel Ferrari will begin to come into the picture mid-season.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just give them time.
Let's give them time, and we'll see how it goes.
How about, let's talk a little bit about Yuki Tsunoda, who was brought in as Verstappen's teammate, and he could only manage 15th. Are we asking too much of him?
Well, maybe we I think it's because of the home support.
Yeah.
Looking at it's Japan, and through the history, there have been Japanese drivers who, have come in and done their own thing over the years. So the Yuki Tsunoda thing is not just the driver per se. There's also Honda, a few political wranglings as well going on in there. So him coming in at Japan was a condition that was actually laid down for certain, transactions that were happening along the line. Notwithstanding, he's one of the up and coming, even though he has been around for a while. And the switch, as usual, once you switch, you have to take time to get to grips with. And he's been switched straight to the top end. He was hoping for it, and eventually it did come, but not expectedly. So, in a nutshell, we can say it's going to be tough. Everybody says that probably it's the car, not the driver, because it seems as if no one is actually able to drive the car the way Max Verstappen drives it. With the exception of Sergio, who did very well in his time. And Sergio did say that people forget how difficult the car is to drive because it is kind of mechanically designed around just a particular person.
All right, I'll come back to ask what next, and then we'll conclude our conversation. But for the qualifiers or the qualifying drivers, we have Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, Charles Leclerc. There's George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, Isaac Haja, Lewis Hamilton, Alexander Albon, Oliver Bierman, Pierre Gasly. There's Carlos Sainz Jr., Fernando Alonso, Liam Lawson, Yuki Tsunoda, Nico Gabriel, Esteban Ocon, and Jack Doohan, as well as Lance Stroll. So those are the top 20, right?
The all 20.
The all 20, right. So the all 20 there. So what next, as we wrap up our conversation, what next with the Grand Prix?
Watch party tomorrow at pit stop down the road from you, Laboni, 5 a.m. Lights out. So we expect all our faithful members to come in and do the usual, It will be excitement all across board, and we expect some great stuff. We see some great driving, and
so
may the best man win.
Pit stop 5 a.m.
Pit stop 5. Actually, lights out 5 a.m. So pit stop 4 a.m.
4 a.m.
You have to be there between 4:30 to get a good seat.
Okay. So by 4:30, you should be at pit stop at Laboni.
Yes.
For the watch party, Japanese Grand Prix watch party, the 6th April edition. Make sure you join the team at pit stop in Laboni. Mr. Kojote, if you have anything else you want to add before we wrap up,
I'd like to say
to those that are gradually gaining interest in motorsports.
Yes, I'd like to say Formula One has been a sport from long ago, and I've been in Formula One from God knows, I can't remember when, but it's full of adrenaline, and it's there's passion. It's just almost like it's football. It's like football. You can't take the fun away from it, both on track and off track. There's a lot. There's even a TV series. So I encourage everybody just come to Formula One, and you see a different side of sports. And thank you to Kwabena Poku, our convener, and to Watch Party, and thanks for having me here to represent.
We are always
Appreciate
grateful.
it.
We're
Thank you
always
so much,
excited
Akol.
to have you here. That's Mr. Kojute, who is a F1 Ghana Club member and a fan of Ferrari, joining us in the studio this morning on Team Talk here on Asaase 99.5. We're coming up to the next thing on the menu this morning. My guest is a Ghanaian and Austrian trained, was the director of sports, University of Ghana from 2013 to 2024. He's a senior lecturer at the Department of Physical Education and Sports Studies and the Vice President, Training, Research and Education, Africa Traditional Sports and Games Confederation. That's the ATSGC. And he's an expert in development through sports, which uses sports to address development and various social issues. And he teaches at the University of Ghana and other universities in Europe. He participates and consults on numerous projects and has vast publications in this and related areas of sports and development. He has coordinated several sports for the development projects across Africa and was the country director of Right to Play Ghana. He serves on several boards and provides invaluable services to governments, NGOs, academia, sports governing bodies, regional, continental, and global organizations, including the United Nations, the African Union, and the Commonwealth, GIZ, Union of Africa Traditional Sports and Games, etc., on matters relating to sports development and development through sports. Now, he served as the fan ambassador for Ghana at the FIFA 2006 World Cup in Germany, and was the recipient of FIFA Fair Play Prize in 2006 on behalf of the fans. He coordinated the fan embassies in Innsbruck at the 2008 UEFA Euro Championship, and in that same year, coordinated a Sports for Development program at the 2008 AFCON that was hosted by Ghana. In 2010, he coordinated a Football for Development and key NACO projects in Austria and Europe for the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa. He's a governing board member of International Council for Martial Arts under the auspices of UNESCO, a member of the Ghana Olympic Committee board from 2020 till 2024, an appeal committee member of the Ghana Football Association, advisory board member of the Sports for Social Network in Africa and the University of Ghana Sports Advisory Board from 2013 to 2024. Now, he served as a local organizing committee member for the first ever African Para Games 2023, and is the founding president of Pierre de this one there is French. Pierre de Coubertin Committee, Ghana, and he was the technical advisor to the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports of Ghana from 2021 to 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, my listeners across Ghana, I'm excited to introduce to you Dr. Bello Bitugu. And Doc, good morning, and thanks for having you finally in the studios of Asaase 99.5.
In fact, Eko, I have to say, if you had not said finally, I would have said finally. You know, the last time we firmed up this appointment, I felt so bad. I said, this guy will call me, and then I'm here or I'm there and I'm here. But the guy keeps pestering. I even gave him an alternative. He had it, but he still wants me to come. So finally, I'm happy to be here, Eko, and thanks you for persevering. And this is really great. Thank you so much.
I'm excited. I'm really excited to have you here.
just let me chip it in the French one. Yes, the gentleman was called, he was a baron. So
Okay.
Pierre de Coubertin. Pierre de Coubertin. You know, in Olympic Games, we have what we call the ancient Olympic Games. So it went, and then, you know, when they stopped the fighting and the change of directions, whatever, the Romans and so on, the old, if you like, ancient Olympic game then stopped. And then in 1896, it was revived to what we now call the modern Olympic Games. And it was revived. The revival was led by this gentleman, Pierre de Coubertin. So Pierre de Coubertin is equal to modern Olympic Games. So yeah, that's the name of the man. Fantastic. So there are committees that celebrate his teachings and the rest all over, just like the International Olympic Committee. So we should have 54 in Africa, but we have, I think, about 22, 23 now. And Ghana is one of them, and that's where I'm the founding president and the rest. So it's actually a popular name. Yes.
Pierre de Coubertin.
Coubertin, yeah.
Thanks for the education. It's the reason why I was pestering you to come. One of the reasons why you needed to be here. All right. So if you have any questions for Doc, feel free to send us via WhatsApp 020000995, and we'll be glad to share all of those with Doc here in the studio. We'll get personal. We are getting personal for now. You've played significant roles in Ghana's university sports development. I want you to walk us through that journey as the director of the sports directorate to now managing other sporting related activities.
Thank you very much, Echo. Yes. When I was growing up, when I was training, I never thought I would be in the sector called sports.
Okay.
I never thought of it. The whole journey for me to go into sports started when I completed my first degree here in Ghana. Just after national service, I got the opportunity to read, got a scholarship to read my master's in Austria. So I left. And my area that I concentrated on, or I wanted to specialize, relate to development studies, North-South dialogue, and international cooperation, really, within the concept of development studies and educational sciences. So I wanted to actually be involved in football, but the age, the know-how, so I went into refereeing, which made me to be the first black referee in the federal state of Tyrol in Austria, the center of the Alps, So in that regard,
the first black.
Yeah, the first black person, yes. Austria is a typical European, Central European country in the Alps, especially where I was. Where I trained for my MPhil and then later my PhD, where I worked until I decided to relocate home in 2012. How time flies, 13 years already. Anyway, so I was involved. One of the areas is anti-discrimination, as I don't know if I mentioned it. So around the late 1990s, when I was actually about to round up my master's, an NGO was formed to fight all forms of discrimination in football in Europe. And many people see it, but they don't connect Bella to it. You realize that they have something of respect, the armband. And those days for World Cup and UEFA champions from quarter-finals, anti-racism message used to be read and the rest before start of matches. So we were those who organized that, who initiated. I was one of them. I was actually coordinating that work in Europe. So that legacy is still there. That's right. Yes. Fantastic. Yeah. So we started from that tangent, and then Kofi Annan 2000 decided that with the Millennium Development Goals, wanted to use sport as a development tool. And you need such background expertise, development studies, some technical know-how, not too much of it at that stage, but development studies and discrimination background and the rest. So it was like I just came into it. So I came and then we initiated that whole concept of sport for development, and the rest is history. To the extent that I even left my mainstream work and was doing more the sports thing, anti-discrimination and the rest. Did the Portugal one, did the Greece one, did the Germany one, the Austrian one, and the rest. And so that is how I came into sports. And I decided to come back home 2012. I relocated as the country director for Right to Play, and then just within a few months, my colleague, who during the Sport for Development endeavor, we met at the United Nations because the UN took the project up. So he said, no, Bella, why don't you come? I'm leaving the sports directorate. So I joined at the University of Ghana. Okay. So I applied. Even though he facilitated, he brought me the thought and the idea. Of course, I went through the channel and we were interviewed, and they felt that I was the best candidate at that material moment, given all the odds. So that they took me. And from 2013 up to 2024, last year, I was the director. And what I realized was that one thing we do in sports is we tend to create a situation where we zoom in everything on competitions and tournaments. The preparation, the off-season, the high season dynamics are not considered. And this is even very pronounced in what I would call scholastic sports, what some people also call academic sports, what we see in educational institute in the institutions. So it's like when it is time for competition, we marshal and then we move on. And that was one thing that was very glaring to me. Very glaring. So I decided that no, we need to have a change in mindset. That is what will help us. We should have an all year round training. You see, when you are doing a scholastic sport, you have a maximum of 4 years, a maximum of 4 years. Some may even have 1 year if you are doing masters or some diploma or certificate programs. Maybe if you are doing some diploma, 2 years, but you have 5 years. Maybe those courses like medicine, architecture, and a few ones may take 5 years, but normally 4 years. And no time, you know. And the GUSA competition itself is every 2 years, even though there is what we call mini GUSA in the odd years. I realized that we cannot go on the tangent of following until there is a competition. Then there is no consistency. So that I tackled that. To make sure, of course, I couldn't have done it for the whole of Ghana because they are not under my authority, but at least the University of Ghana. And that is, I think, one of the things that has really, really, really brought some progress to the University of Ghana. So the students are all year round engaged. The coaches are made to design programs that relate to that off-season, etc. Going on training tours. I even facilitated taking them to the High Performance Center in Pretoria. Some of our athletes. The second thing is enabling. The enabler. If you look at the story of human journey, or the story of society, unfortunately, my earphone here, I don't, sorry, excuse the listeners.
All right.
That.
Okay, so we'll get it fixed. And,
okay, all right, okay.
So if you get it fixed for us.
So,
okay, you can swap it for the time being.
See, okay. Hello.
Okay, so listeners, I'm talking to Dr. That's the former University of Ghana Sports Director and Senior Lecturer, Dr. Bello Bitugu, my guest in the studio this morning on Team Talk. Yes, so
yeah, the gentleman is kindly fixing it. So basically, you realize that, yes, it's fine now. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. So what happens is the most talented, right, the most brilliant persons, most often are those who lack the resources to see themselves or to see them through training.
Yeah.
So I realized that, first of all, we need the University of Ghana is mostly oversubscribed in terms of applications for studies. Mainly oversubscribed, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Maybe because of the UG brand or whatever, being also the premier university and so on. So it is very difficult to get into it. Basically, it is said that you have a grade 24, you are qualified technically.
Yes.
But by the time you get to 15, 16, UG has stopped.
It's a cut-off point.
A cut-off point. Cut-off point. And so I said, okay, you know what? When the student athletes, at the time that they are running, traveling for competition and the rest, their colleagues are busily in the library, classroom, learning and the rest. So let us design an admissions policy where we make them enter with the barest minimum. Fortunately, the university agreed.
Wow.
That is why we got students who otherwise might have had difficulties getting admission to the university. The most important thing is meet the basic requirement and we'll get you to UG. That's how we empowered a lot of young men and women. Beyond that, we then realize, or I realized together with the team, that these brilliant persons are those without the resources. So let us get a scholarship scheme. You see, every university, every institution may have strategies to admit, to scout, to admit. But ours have been gazetted.
Okay.
It's not, it's a they are policies. They are policies at the University of Ghana accepted by the highest level.
Right.
So we got what we call the sport fund, which is, as we speak now, I think the only kind of its nature in the whole of Ghana in terms of the public universities. I think even not the public, but I think
I'm not sure even the
private universities, yes, have yeah.
That.
So we had we designed a sport fund, giving people scholarship. That is why we produce a lot, and then afterwards, under this tenure, under this program, we have not less than 15 students, not less than 15 students who have moved outside Ghana for further studies and further program. Not that I'm thinking the brain drain is an achievement, but at least it's given opportunity and they will go train and then they will come back. And they have represented Ghana the last Olympic Games. Saminu.
Names like Saminu, yeah.
Yeah, he was the only 200 meters guy.
Yeah.
This was a guy we facilitated. People told me don't take him. Yeah, they said don't take him because I didn't know him. One Rex Brobe brought him, and I said, Rex, can I look into your eyes and trust? He said, yeah. I took him, and the rest is history. Yeah. The Grace Obuos, yeah. The long distance runners, Aziz, and so on. Just name them. My last year, we lost about 7 athletes, quote unquote. Okay. So those are the strategies. And then also, I felt that it was necessary that we bring in even further professionalism in the management of sports in the country in terms of Ghana University Sports Association. We should move a bit further beyond what has already been achieved and the rest. And then I also thought of capacity development. So these 4 areas were things that I thought should be done. And fortunately, I had a very strong, cooperative and able and capable team at the university. And I also got the support of senior management. And that is why we have seen and are seeing what we have seen and the legacy that has been left behind.
Wow. All these things were done during that short time that you were the director of sports.
Yes.
Well, and we've had athletes go out there, like you mentioned, some have participated at the Olympics and all of that.
Commonwealth, African Game, Grace Obuo, Azamati. We made Azamati who he was. Or we made Azamati to become who he is. Azamati, you never heard of Azamati. Asamoah was a student in Mensa Saba Hall. Actually, Asamoah he was more inclined to playing football. The gentleman was running faster than the ball. I mean,
James join.
And
but I'm sure he started running in the
even in the SHS. Yes. But you see, when Asamoah came, yes, he was running, but he was playing football too. I mean, not.
And he was tilted more to football than playing running.
I cannot say that was it, but I had the feeling. We had the feeling.
Okay.
I had the feeling. We had the feeling, and I think the issue was he might not have realized the potential he had in the running. And he knew he can run, I can blah, 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 but not really thinking, look, I can become the record holder. So my coaches, our coaches saw him, and then there was a senior tutor at the hall. Said, Charlie, this guy. So I told the coach at that time, Elom, who is still his coach, partly. I said, look, can we work on this guy? So we started working on him. Then we took him to Nigeria, Port Harcourt, for the West Africa University, the last one.
Okay.
I think this one, the next one is this year, and hopefully University of Ghana will be hosting it.
Oh.
Yes. We took him there. He placed fourth. He didn't. And then he told the coach, Coach, if I come, I would like to work with you and you train me. And he was studying, I think, fisheries.
Okay.
With, complicated and complex timetable. So he said, anytime I'm free, I will come. So this guy was coming 12 midday, 2 p.m., 6 a.m., depending on his timetable. My brother, the rest is the history we are living now with Asamoah.
Right. So, Doc, how do you see university sports playing a role in generally shaping the elite athletes for national and international competitions beyond what you've done? That is with the University of Ghana. How do we reciprocate all of these at the other universities to ensure that we have a calendar or a system that runs through all our universities?
Well, universities are autonomous outfits. You cannot determine for them what to do.
But when there's a good cause,
yes, you can only appeal to them, or they may only wish to rationalize. University of Ghana, if it sees something good with KNUST, with UDS or UHATS, it may rationalize and say, let's take it, but they are not obliged, and vice versa.
Right.
So what we did, I think some other universities have seen it and are replicating.
Okay.
Or the Ghana University Sports Association has seen certain good things and think, oh, we can actually encourage our members to assume them. You should be conscious of the fact that universities are autonomous. You cannot tell them to do it because you are this or that. And so, for example, we developed handbook for the University Sports Association and so on and so forth. And there are also some kinds of, training beyond preparing for competitions or major competitions and the rest. And I do believe that the Ghana University Sports Association is doing very well, and they can actually replicate some of these things and are doing also very well. But you see, this is the secret.
Okay.
And I think we haven't realized that. I don't know how old you are. You don't have to tell me, but I can tell you, when we were going to school, when we were doing the elementary thing, the 80s, the 90s, and the rest, you went to the university at the age of, in fact, there were some people who even went at the age of 25. Today, you go to the university if you can find some brilliant, sharp brains at 16, age 16.
Yeah.
Now, those years are still the formative years, are the formative years. So you come to the university to still go through your formative years.
Yes, yeah.
Unlike those days when you would have formed your character, habit, whatever, character, habit, one not working at all.
Okay.
Character, habit all over at the university. But the unfortunate thing is we have not redesigned our strategy to meet the changing wind or the changing age or the changing restructuring or whatever of entry or life at the university. So you cannot handle a 16, 17, 18-year-old person, 19-year-old person with the same strategy like as if you were 21, 22, 20, 21. Let me recall, I think I completed university, I think at age 26, 27 or so, because those days you used to have 10 years, what you used to call Saito. Me, I'm not a city boy. Me, I'm a Zongo boy from Keta Zongo to Ajido to Tudu. So me, I went to Saito. Me, I didn't go to that preparatory. So I went 9 years. From 3, I did that from a common entrance. So 5 years and then 9 years, and then you had 7 years up to A levels.
Yes.
So before the university, 16 years.
Yes.
Yeah. So and then we were 5, 6 years before you entered you started schooling. So by the time you finish, you are 26, 27, 28.
Yeah.
Today, 26, 27, you may even be a senior lecturer if you are.
You are married. You are married with
Yes, that's right. That's right. So we haven't redesigned our strategy.
It's important we do that.
Exactly. And I keep saying this. I kept saying this since I came and the senior SHS thing came and so on. Say, hey guys, this is what we need to do. And so it is becoming very difficult, but that is the fertile ground, the nurturing ground for sportsmen and women. If you forget the school sport, scholastic sport, academic sport, whichever way you want to call it, if you forget those ones, then you are not there because they live on that. Yes, we know that in our country, there are some people who don't go to school. But some people come to school because they see sports being done or PE being done. They come to school, they are attracted. You see, so these are some of the things we need to do. And then you see, we are still stuck. Maybe when we come to facilities, we will discuss that. We are still stuck to the old system of funding sport. We are always thinking of the central administration. When I came, the member who has Ferraris top and down, talking of the that's
Formula One,
isn't it? Yeah. Formula One. I mean, they never tell us the price monies. They never say it. Always secret. They are the only sporting festival that does not come out with the prizes that the
winners get.
Yeah, but what is it? If you take them, for example, they don't rely on the federation. We don't have to rely on GES, on central government. We should find innovative ways of funding sports. If we don't find that way, and if we do not treat sports as a business, we will be stuck in where we are. And please do not misquote me. And I caution, do not misquote me. I did not say commercialize sports. I said sports as a business. I'm not saying commercialize it, but sports as a business. That business acumen. And Nigeria has experimented the sports policy being geared towards business, and we can see some of the progress they have made. Look at it as a business rather than a charity, rather than somebody or something at the behest of maybe today the minister didn't sleep well and he'll come and say, I won't give you this, or the minister can't even give you because it's not even there.
It's not there.
You see, so these are some of the things that I think that need doing and have to be done in this area to get
So
elite
we must
sports
see
done.
sports as a business.
Absolutely.
And once we do that, it will grow. Now,
yeah, hopefully. But that not the only way. There are other things that need happening. The mobilization, the scouting, the opportunity, the access, the professionalism, etc.
yes,
But we should.
It takes me to my next set of questions on the kind of sports development we need as a country. Is it expertise? Is it infrastructure? Is it personnel? What kind of where we find ourselves now? What kind of sports development do we need?
My brother, don't be sad. I am sorry. Unfortunately, I have to say it. We need expertise in all those areas. There isn't any area that you say, oh, this is better. You can say among the worst case scenarios.
But we must start from somewhere.
Yes. No, of course, I'm coming there.
Yeah.
You are trying to say, for where do we start? And that's the answer to the question. I think we need to start from all angles. Of course, we cannot give attention or equal attention to all the angles.
Sure.
You see, if you look at infrastructure, how many certified athletics, boxing, tennis, let me just put them, racket games, how many certified facilities? We shouldn't even go to the world, though. No. Even let's not even go to Africa. Let's stay with West Africa. How many facilities do we have? Ball games. How many facilities athletics? How many facilities racket games do we have that are certified? Not Africa, not world, West Africa. How many do we have? You are refusing to answer because you are a journalist and you are not supposed to answer. But we don't have them apart from the one which have just been done at university. And even that one is actually just the athletics that is certified. Even if we go to Botema, not all of them are certified. So you realize that, and I give you an example. There were two instances. That was one of the national teams was training towards a competition. And they came to UG when we had this stadium that they would like to train on our field with a floodlight. Because last time when they went to play under floodlight and they have never done that. So it was chaos. Just this FA, the MTN FA, which they played at Babayara, there is a team, I think, from Tama area. I've forgotten the name. They contacted us that they are going to play and most likely it will be floodlight.
Okay.
I think they were the ones who played against Kotoko.
True democracy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. They called and said they would want to play and train under floodlight because they most likely will do that in Kumasi.
Yes.
This is not what I'm telling you was even with a national team. We don't even have that, because if we would have such stadia, a lot of the matches will be preferably in the evening. We don't have them. Athletic tracks, we don't have them. When Azamati was doing, he was doing up sub 11. He was doing the Tartan track, the old one, outmoded one. When he went within 2 months, he was doing sub 10. He was doing sub 10. That showed you, he himself said it, there was a change when the track were there. And that is why when we have this track at UG, we're also allowing people to come just to have a taste. So infrastructure. Second, the personnel. Our coaches, yes, they have handled the teams great. But you see, it gets to a point, they get saturated. No further training, no higher training, no capacity building. Then the coaching itself. Coaching is not only doing it on the field, though. Coaching is not doing it on the field. Look, I had a coach sometime and I said we need to get some psychologists to work with you. The coach told me that as for him, his athletes don't need psychologists. Can you imagine? A year later, he came and said, I now understand what you meant. So we need capacity building, both coaching on the ground and off the field. We certainly need personnel. Sports is a multidisciplinary endeavor. We need a psychologist, a nutritionist, a this, a that, a that, a that, a that. We don't have them. We may not get all of these people at the same time, but there are certain basic things that we need to have. The scouting. There is no strategy, no focus, no direction. Where is the sports policy of the country? I was made to head a committee, and we have finally brought up a sports committee, a sports policy, a draft one, and hopefully very soon it will become operational.
Okay.
So these are the things that we need to be able to develop the sports from the area of sports development. You didn't mention sport for development, which is actually my area, using the tangent.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask whether it's sports development or sports for development.
That's right. Okay. The one, when we talk of sports for development, we normally don't add the S at the end of the T. So there is a sport development or sports development. That one you can argue it out.
Sure.
Then sport for development. These are the two modern wings of sport.
Okay.
The sports development is anything you do to excel.
Right.
You use the word elite sport. I am sure some listeners may understand elite sport as maybe in our context golf, maybe even tennis, or they look at or they will interpret fencing for us. Yes, that's right. They will look at it as elite sport. No. Elite sport simply means a standardized professional as opposed to non-standardized and amateur.
Okay.
So sport development is all strategies, actions and activities that aimed at excellence.
Okay.
Yeah. All that you have in your mind is to be the first. So that is why for a whole year you will be training every day 2, 3, 4 hours, 2, 3, 4 hours for 100 meters. And when the D-Day comes, you have 10 seconds to prove. Can you imagine? 1 whole year working only to have 10 seconds to prove. Right. So anything you do, it could be with coaching, just the things I mentioned, the infrastructure, the facilities, the coaching, the various personnel that are required, the kits, motivation, feeding, etc. That help you to become excellent, to excel, to win. It's basically winning. Sport development has only one objective: to win and to be the best. Sport for development, on the other hand, is using the platform or using sport, using the industry as a platform to address development issues. Do you get me? So it doesn't interest a sport for development person, and I am from that angle. That is my biggest area of specialization, sport for development, and that is what I teach as well. And unfortunately or fortunately, University of Ghana is the only university that teaches that course, because some of us are involved, and very few universities do that in the whole world, I must add.
You think we need a lot more universities for the University of Sports?
Well, I don't know whether we need more universities of sports. I won't go into that politics now. Let them go into it. But we need institutions that run sport. You see, often we confuse the sport and the physical education.
Yes.
These are two different things. And I have to say that physical education has carried sport up to where we are, and they have done a fantastic job. But we need... At the moment, we need specialization for sports itself. Right? How many universities in Ghana do sports? Very few. Very few. Maybe 5% or 10% of what is done in some of the universities are actually sports. Yeah? So we need that area. But we do not need to create a university for that. There is, why do you reinvent the wheel?
There are the National Sports College.
yes, apart from that, even the universities that are there can just include this new curriculum and the rest, and you get me. And the National Sports College
must be empowered to do what it's supposed to do.
That's right, and they are even on the campus of UEW. So I mean, it's a dandy. That must be the commitment. That must be the direction. That must be the focus. That we need to understand what are the gaps and the holes in our sports industry. What do we need? What do we require? Look, those days you can go and win laurels with some kind of luck or so. Today, there is luck, but maybe 1, 2, 3, 4%. You need to work hard. And they say if you want to win the World Cup, you must work for 14 years. AFCON 12 to 14 years. Olympic Games 10 to 12 years. Yeah. So you realize that there is a huge investment that you need to be able to excel. For the past 30, 40 years, we came back 4 years ago. No, I think 6 years ago. Yeah, 4, 5 years ago. We got bronze in boxing and we are shouting all over. Oh, Charlie, it's not easy. Oh. Yeah, it's not easy. Oh. Now, so what I am saying is, we need the expertise in sport so that we can get the sport development and then sport for development also to empower the youth, to empower people, to create awareness on so many issues.
And ultimately, it does well for the economy.
Absolutely, because if you are, it creates jobs. Yeah, it creates jobs. It sends people to school. It creates awareness, life skill on resilience, on investment, on entrepreneurship. You can use sport platform to do all of these things, and people are doing it, and we are seeing, and we have seen, and it is.
Sports is helping a lot of economies around the world.
Absolutely. Look, apart from the oil thing, the drug, and the rest, it is sport. Yes, it's billions of dollars are coming out of that. The GDP, the world GDP is 2.1, I think, of the world GDP is given by sports. Can you imagine 2.1% of GDP? Even our Ghanaian economy, 2.1 is a lot. And in Africa, they say 1.5, even though I think the calculation there is wrong and is educated, because I'm not sure that they are able to capture all the things in the basket to calculate the composition of the contribution of GDP, and which I also want to say that we are working on a document now to research on the contribution of sports to the GDP of Ghana. Yes, we are working on that. We have even gotten to the stage of, we are at the stage of finalizing the instrument to use and see what should come into the basket and where to be involved in. Because it's a very complicated calculation. Because if you see that woman, that guy who sells ice water around, or you see somebody, okay, like me at the university now, I am not supposed to come under educational. I'm supposed to come under sport. That person who sells water, the gentleman sitting here talking about Ferrari and Formula One, that thing he's doing is not business to go under anything. She must be under sports. So sports does a lot. Look at the PE and sports teachers in the schools. There are some schools who have even 2 sports teachers, or some even 3. You know, if they are big, and look at the number of schools we have and these people. And those people are not for education, or they are for sport. So compiling the basket is a complicated one, because we do not have the accounting system that captures, but we are trying to use the UN one, which can be adapted all over. So yes, we are trying to work on that, and we are in discussion with the ministry.
All right, I was just reading an article that suggests the sports industry has emerged as a significant contributor to global economic growth, fostering employment opportunities and generating revenue through various channels. And this study explores the multifaceted output of the sports industry, encompassing sports-related goods and services, media, tourism, and advertising. The last time I was talking about how we can use sports to encourage tourism. And the last time I spoke, I was speaking to the deputy director of the National Sports Authority, tourism. Abeku Santana. I was talking to him on having a program, so we leverage on how tourism can leverage on sports develop that particular industry. And I think it's about time we took serious interest in sports as a country. And Doc has said it all. Doc, if you just join us, you're listening to Team Talk here on Asaase 99.5 in Accra, 99.7 in Tamale, 100.3 in Cape Coast, and Asaase 98.5 in Kumasi. And my guest in the studio is Dr. Bello Bitugu, who is a former senior lecturer at the University of Ghana, a former director of sports at the same university, and we've been talking about sports development and all. Now, I want to go into the management of sports facilities in Ghana. The University of Ghana Sports Stadium is a major facility in this country, right? You agree?
Yes, I agree.
What has been, first of all, your general opinion about how we manage our sporting facilities in this country? And then we'll narrow it down to your approach in managing and maintaining that facility at the university effectively.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I get into that area,
Yes.
to address that question, let me just briefly input into what you said earlier concerning the article you read. I don't know the article, but please, since you have my this thing, can you just forward it to me?
Sure.
That will be a resource for me to have a look.
Sure, I'll send it to you.
Yes, I think it is spot on. It creates so many opportunities, and in my language, if you want to tell a story which is so coincidental, or if it just fits in, you say, let me tell you a lie. And those from England, they will say touche. Look, as I speak with you, I won't go that far. I am an adjunct. An adjunct is, in the American term, you just call it visiting lecturer. That's right. The Americans say adjunct. We say, the British ones say visiting lecturer. I am an adjunct in 2 universities in Austria, and come to think of it, in one of them I teach sports tourism, but I don't teach it in Ghana because it's not even there, even though one is now working hard to bring it in there. And then this year I have engaged with a group of people to try and design a sports tourism concept. Look at what happens in during Easter in
Kwahu.
the name Kwahu. Look at the Axim, the waves, the Atlantic one. Yeah. Look at my hometown, Keta. And if I say my hometown is Keta, a lot of people are shocked.
They don't understand.
People some say, yeah, the guy is from northern Ghana, or some say he's from Nigeria and the rest. My hometown, Keta, look at the beach, serene, fantastic, beach volleyball, beach soccer. These things can be redesigned as a sports tourism outfit, and a potential one for that matter.
Sure.
We are trying to work on that. So the opportunity is endless because sport permeates into all kinds of life. Of the 4 of us here, when I'm trying to teach the contribution of sports in the world, in our lives, the first example I try to tell my students is imagine you've woken up, you go to paste, maybe the mug you are holding, the brush you are holding, the toothpaste you are holding, they have some sporting brand. You come to drink your coffee or tea or whatever, maybe the marks you use and the rest. Then you decide to dress, right? Most likely you come and dress, you have a cap, you have a jeans, you have a coat, you have a t-shirt, you have has something sport you did. You go out, something sport, you come back, maybe the duvet you use is even a duvet that has some branding. Maybe the shower gel that you use has some sports branding or some sports promotion, etc. The food you eat, some people have maybe popularized it and the rest. And even maybe if you want to if I want to go very personal and the rest, even using of preservatives and even of some pills and the rest, have all sporting brand and so on and so on, even your underwears and so on. So sport is just in our lives. So I think it is very, very true. Now, coming to the substantive question, can you remind me once again?
So I was asking, I was talking about how we've managed, our sporting
facilities. Yeah. Yes, in Ghana. Now, okay.
Your view of it and how you are.
Yes, I get you. Now, I will answer this question from two perspectives.
Okay.
Because you ask how are we managing it and how have we done and how have we managed it. And what I would refer, there are two good articles. I often refer people to. One of them is in a journal on the use of public facilities, including sporting facilities in Ghana. It may be a little bit far-fetched, but I refer every Ghanaian to the auditor's report of 2019. It was on the 4 stadia, and the result is a and thank you. And the result is a disaster. Do you have it there? You just read one paragraph, you realize that it captures everything. It talks about how we are not prepared to manage it sustainably. There is no plan. Some don't even have manuals. Yes. And so on and so forth. For me, that particular study the audit service did on public on sporting facilities. If we can just take that document and say, let us work with the recommendation, I think 85% of our issues will be gone. Yes. Because it was a classic one, very classical. Yeah, and it has exposed the weaknesses in managing facilities. Now let's zoom into the reality.
Yeah.
The University of Ghana, you recall, maybe let me give a brief background.
Okay.
The University of Ghana itself had its own dream and a vision of designing and developing a sports stadium.
Right.
That is why in 2003, in its own on its own accord, in its own right, decided to create this particular stadium we have now from their own sources and get fund.
Okay.
So they started without any involvement. It was an internal decision taken.
Right.
So they started building the stadium. Up to 2008, some of the concrete works were about 80-85% done, and so on. The tartan tracks were built, the scoreboard was erected, and the rest. And then in 2008-2009, because it was a Get Fund funded project, Get Fund came out with a policy that they will not fund non-classroom, non-laboratory projects in educational institutions. I'm just paraphrasing. So anything that you want Get Fund to do, if it is not related to the classroom or the laboratory, they won't. But hidden in that policy is a clause that if an institution wants such a project or such a funding to be made available outside these two areas, they have to justify it. But a lot of people missed that clause. So no money more for Get Fund, to the extent that was 2009. 2013, I came to the University of Ghana. I recall a year or two later, we had this big billboard with a skeleton and bones danger at our stadium. As late as 2014, 2015, danger zone. And when I was interviewed, before I assumed office, they asked me, what about the stadium? I said, I will complete it before I leave, and it has come to pass. It has come to pass.
Yeah.
Now, getting back to that story, then 2013, 2014, 2015, I realized, no, we need to do something. Then we started exploring, and then we went to Get Fund. Pitched the argument, we got 11 million cedis in different tranches. I was going to get fund office as if that was my annex. We got the money. That is what the seats, all the seats, apart from the VIP, we did it during my tenure. We brought in the offices of the Sports Directorate, now known as Sports and Wellness Directorate. We moved in there. We brought the utility lines, water and electricity to the stadium through this initiative that I took together with the senior management of the university and my team. We did that. And then 2020 thereabout came. The owners of the sports, the African Games came and said they want to inspect the accommodation to be used for the African Games. So they came to the campus and they saw this uncompleted stadium. So they said they wanted to have a look. They went there, and for all other reasons, finance, whatever, the LOC, the ministry, and the African Union agreed that, look, we do not have to open another battlefront at Boteman. We have this, let's complete it. That was why University of Ghana Stadium then came to play the role that it played. Fortunately, I'm thinking that if that stadium were not there, the completion of a brand new zero stadium would have been very, very difficult. We had our challenges, but finally we succeeded, even with that stage of development of that stadium. So they said that stadium will be completed for the games, and then it was completed. Some details we can leave out. So now the stadium, the agreement is that it will remain in the hands of the University of Ghana. So when I was exiting as the director of sport, given the history connected to the stadium and during the African Games and how we all worked to get the stadium completed, and I serving as the venue manager for the stadium and the rest, the university management thought it was and said, you know what, they had not completed the handing over process from the government yet. So I should just act as the facility manager until the process is complete. That is why the management is separated from the sports directorate, just to concentrate on the African Games facilities until the handing over is completed. That is why where we are now.
So the handing over is not done yet?
The handing over has not been done yet, but we are just about completing it. And once it is done, the university has decided that it should be run by an outfit at the university, not within the university structures, but will be run as a business. Exactly. So it will be run as a business. Now,
because I was going to ask whether the university would have that plan, that resources to, continue to expand the infrastructure and maintain it.
Well, I don't know the expansion and the maintaining it, but this is something that is going to be done. It will be a catastrophe and a disaster if it is not done. First of all, it is proven that such facilities, especially in this part of our world, are best maintained by educational institutions, number one. Number two, University of Ghana has had the track record of maintaining some of these facilities as an educational institution. And you could see some of the ones we developed and built ourselves. Number three, this is a facility which the University of Ghana decided that no, we shouldn't let this facility operate within the general public service, public outfit system. They want to give it to a particular outfit which will run it as a business. And running it as a business means if it doesn't even make profit, it should maintain it and sustain it. That is the level. So what we have done up until now is we designed a model that is a temporary model. I'm the acting facility manager for these African Games facilities. And of course there is no structure, nothing there. So I, together with support of senior management, designed a model to run it, and that's what we've been running from August up until now. You haven't had any complaints there. We are trying to do our best. We are operating within certain limited milieu, but we are doing what we are doing. We have made it available from the top echelon, national leagues, national teams, up to grassroots, even primary schools, they come to use it to have a taste, to help them. NGOs, corporate bodies, they come to use these facilities, and that is why it is done. And that is what we call the trickle down of mega events. It trickle downs to the basic people, to the basic users. That's what we are doing. And we try to make it accessible to all and sundry. There are a few things that we need to do. That is the expansion you are talking about. And we are planning that, and there is. But sometimes, if you do not have the 100% legitimacy, you are not able to go. You are reserved, and there is. So that is what we do. And let me tell you something. You see, the literature on facility management is moving away from the traditional one of the stadium. If you want to use stadium for only sporting activity, football and athletics, you cannot sustain it. It is clear. You can use the facilities, and that is the encouragement, the strategy, the model that is coming out now, that get multi-usage for sporting facilities, but do not damage it. Make sure that whilst you are using it for non-sporting activities, you are making safeguards, you are cautious that nothing gets damaged. That is why we even organize the one that happens on the 31st of December. They call it, is it crossover? Yes, we organize crossover. You heard nothing.
What did you do differently that day?
The people did not use the field. They used the stand. Only the stage was there. The Chinese New Year was also celebrated in that stadium. We have carpets. We have protection for the tracks, and then carpets on certain parts. And there will be, and the idea is to even get the normal protection where you put them on the tracks and the field. When the final decision comes, this thing can be considered, because those are some of the recommendations that will be left behind. But we have carpets that protect, and that is why we play the football leagues. So that's why if you watch any of the leagues in front, there are green grass, artificial turf that protect sportsmen and women. They don't warm up on the track. They warm up elsewhere. So what you need to do is you can expand the usage of sporting facilities, but be conscious that you do not damage and that the sustainability must be ensured. And that is all we have done and continue to do and hope to improve upon.
Doc,
yes,
it's been wonderful.
I hear you.
Wonderful having you in the studio. The wait has been worthwhile, and we can be much more grateful than this. I think that it's been an eye opener. It's been insightful, and we are grateful to have had you in the studio today. Dr. Bello Bitugu has been our guest. He's the former, in fact, a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana, and the former director of sports. And he's joined us. He's been with us over the last 1 hour, talking about sports development and facility management and all of that. Doc, as we wrap up on this conversation, what would you want to leave behind for us?
What do I want to leave behind? Can I respectfully and kindly request that you make this clip available?
Which one?
This one, what we have done now.
Yes,
sure. That was a joke, just by the way.
Sure,
okay. No, what do I leave? I think I'll leave a few lines.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. Number one, you. I'll start with you as journalists, media practitioners. I think you are not engaging the sports industry as you should. You are almost always, most of your work is on reporting, on quoting. You do not question policies. You do not interrogate policies.
Like we have just done.
Maybe. and out of that to bring it out, because you are to say things people don't say. Yes, expose scandals. Yes, expose politicking in sports. But you should also be conscious of media, sports media for development. Because you see, sports journalism and sports, you go hand in hand. Because you see, what happens in sport is the sport is bought and they will have to sell it, right? The owners of the sport sell it to the media. That's why we have this DSTV and the rest. And the sport organizers, the teams, get the money to develop themselves, and you, the media, you get it to develop yourself. But beyond that, what is the discourse? What policy are you scrutinizing and interrogating? And I will throw this also to the sports practitioners, the experts, the academics. Do you get me? What are we doing to interrogate the coaches and the technical people? We are doing very little. That is the first and foremost. Number two, we are so fixated on immediate gratification. We are almost always talking about winning, championship. But we do it shortcut. There are so many teams, a week to time, they don't even know whether they are living or not. And if you even go find the food, they eat the bankus, the fufus, even in the morning, in the evening, and there is no balance. We need to bring professionalism into running our sport. And I think the sports policy must finally come out. And I think we should also give the strength and the space to scholastic school sports. I hear it is going to improve now. That is what we need to do. But you see, we cannot go organizing school sports. We cannot go organizing sports in the industry when we do not take into consideration the elements, the variables that contribute to sport development and sport for development. And with that, I will leave you.
All right. Doc, somebody sent a message and says he wants you to talk about Kadman Yamwa.
Yeah. Those are one of the people University of Ghana produce. If the person is listening to me, I think he's talking of the high jumper. Is that correct? The high jumper? Yeah. The Commonwealth guy. Yeah. You know, he came to African Games as well. He was our student. We put him on scholarship. We scouted the guy, trained him, and we have one of the best field event trainers, Coach Bruce Okine. He's there. He was in Achimota. We brought him to UG now. He was training Kadman. And within a year to a year and a half, Kadman made it to the top, went to Africa. And he's in the US now. Yeah. And he came to represent Ghana. And what did he win? He won the gold. Yeah, so that is Kadman. Thank you for reminding me. These are the number of people I was talking about who have left. Kadman left, I think, 2-3 years ago. Yes, and they are doing wonders now. Yes.
Doc, thank you so much for coming. We are grateful. We move into our next subject for discussion here on Team Talk here on Asaase 99.5. We have done 36 minutes already into 12, and there are a few other issues we'll be addressing shortly. Stay on. We'll be right back.
All right, folks. Answer these questions correctly, and your company wins the biggest discount on advertising for a whole year. Yeah, you heard me. 12 solid months of saving big and selling bigger. Question 1. Which radio station reaches over 60% of Ghana's population with 5 branches across 4 major regions?
4 major. Asaase Radio.
Boom!
Let's go.
Correct.
Sharp.
Question 2.
Yeah.
Name the only big name radio station with branches in 4 of the biggest regions in Ghana.
Asaase Radio.
You're correct. Question 3. Which station gets your ad play in multiple regions when you book just 1 branch?
Wow.
At 0 extra charges. Yes.
Wow.
At no extra charge.
Asaase Radio.
Spot on. Question 4. Which station offers you more than what the others offer? And to more regions and at less than 50% the cost?
Asaase Radio.
Now you did talk. Yep, correct. So now you know the deal. Reach more customers across Ghana, spend half the money, and laugh all the way to the bank. Asaase Radio, 99.5 Accra, 98.5 Kumasi, 99.7 Tamale, 100.3 Cape Coast. And don't forget Asaase Pa, 107.3 Accra. This one be pay for one, get plenty for free. Now proper don't call me. Call 055-644-1989 or email us at info@asaaseradio.com. So why pay more for less impact? Jump on this offer and let your brand ride the Asaase wave. Asaase Radio, the voice of our land. Home of the brands. This offer begins from 1st April 2025. Call now.
To be a leader in one's field takes a lot of sacrifice, discipline, hard work, and smart thinking. It is a world of legacies that would be kings and queens. They have journeyed through times and seasons, faced challenges and obstacles, and through it all, they have come out stronger and better. With them, they have carried the African spirit and brought to life the African dream of greatness. For discoveries and great strides they have made. In a world where the African may not naturally be the first option, what has aided them in breaking boundaries and stereotypes?
4 exciting moments of enlightenment with great African leaders. Join us on Sunday night. This and every Sunday at 7 p.m. on Asaase Radio. Sunday night, the iconic encounter.
Artsy. Artistic, relevant, thought-provoking showbiz discussion just for you. Only on Asaase Radio. Don't miss out.
Artsy on Asaase Radio nationwide every Saturday from 1 p.m. with Diego. Get interactive. #Artsy. #Asaase Entertainment. Artsy. Arts. Culture. Entertainment.
Greetings, massive. My name is King Legacy, the 7-star general, the host of Yard Settings. Yard Settings on Asaase Radio nationwide. Check out the new update. Saturday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We bring you Asaase Yard Settings Jam. Play you the best in reggae, bringing you my top 10 reggae hits, and also touching base with you via the phone line to check out the vibes, how it is like out there. Sunday, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. we bring you the Echo Chamber news, the happenings in the reggae dancehall and sound system culture world. Also the Legends Corner, where we sit and reason with the artists, both yard and foreign. Yard Settings, style a style, and style can't spoil. Yard Settings to the world.
All right, welcome back. You're still live on Team Talk as we speak. Everton are down by a goal to nil against Arsenal. Leandro Trossard with that goal for them at the Goodison Park. So games are ongoing across the European leagues. In the EPL is Everton 0, Arsenal 1 with about 6 minutes played in the second half. Okay, later we have West Ham Bournemouth. We have Ipswich Wolverhampton Wanderers also coming up later. But yesterday, news emerged that Kevin De Bruyne is leaving Manchester City after 10 years. And this morning I've been asking, in fact, all of last night till this morning I've been asking, is Kevin De Bruyne one of the greatest midfielders ever to have played in the EPL? And is he the greatest in the last 10 years for Manchester City? And James Owa, let's do this real quick because we have 2 more issues to deal with before we wrap up on Team Talk today.
Look, he's one of the brightest spots that has ever graced the English Premier League.
Is he the greatest, one of the greatest midfielders the EPL has ever seen?
No doubt about that. He changed the dynamics. Look, the stats speaks volume. Not just the stats, but there are games that decisively he has single-handedly determined the outcome for Manchester City, and for him to win 6 Premier League titles speaks volume. Not so. There's no debate here. He's in the category of Lampards, Girouds, and co. Look, he made it look simple. He did it better, and look, he won trophies alongside. So you can't debate this. Nobody can debate this. Look, he's. I think at some point I was rating Silva, the Spaniard, but now
Bernardo Silva.
No, the Spaniard. Forgotten his name. He played for City, but now this dude has surpassed any single player that has ever wore the claret blue jersey for Manchester
as
City.
a midfielder. Because there's a certain Sergio Aguero.
I know, but as a midfielder, he made it look simple. He knitted all the threads together for Man City. And look, Pep can't do without him. He was a perfectionist, just like Pep. No wonder he played this number of years under Pep and very decisive. And I love watching him. Like how I wish.
Is he past his prime?
No. From the way he plays, he's not your average or your regular midfielder that will take on players. He drops a shoulder, he gives you 30-40 yards pass, just like the Girouds, the Lamp. They'll give you the pass, they'll give you that assist. They unlock defense with just one decisive pass, just one killer punch, and then 2-3 players are off the game. So he's still got a lot of goodies in him. He can still play at the highest level for 2 or 3 more years. He can. He walks straight.
He'll be 34 in June.
It doesn't matter. Because of how he plays.
Injuries, yeah.
Because of how he plays. Look, just a typical example is Andre Pirlo. He became better with age.
Because we saw him at Chelsea first. He was sent back to
Wolfsburg, and that was where he unlocked himself. And he came back to the Premiership with a lot of points to prove.
Yeah.
And he proved beyond everybody's imagination. So I might say, look, Kevin De Bruyne walks into any of the top teams in all the top 5 European teams starting lineup. He starts.
Okay.
Because look,
once he's free from injury,
he's fit. He's okay. He can play. And look, it doesn't matter how deep you play him. His ability to pick players, even from his own half, from his goal area, 40 yards. Direct pass, 40 yards, diagonal pass, and pinpoints.
We are told he will be a statue will be unveiled for him in Manchester.
They are not normal statue, so no wonder. But deservedly.
Will this be the first of many departures at City? Because there's a certain Eke Gundogan. There's talk of Ederson. There's John Stones.
There will be a massive
Kyle Walker.
There'll be a massive clear out. Yeah, and the money is not a problem for these Etihad guys. They have the money for once they are able to spot the right players that will fit into Pep's agenda. They will just go for it. So there will be a massive clear out. And look, the issue, Pep has always been a coach that freshen up his squad, but the issue and the reason why we are seeing what we are seeing currently is the fact that he let certain players play for far too long in his team. They become rusty. They got tired. They are not able to move. And then the vital thing is he's unable to motivate them any longer because they've won everything.
There's nothing
more. So they need new challenge, and we call it diminishing returns. So that's what's really has really affected this City side. So Gundogan is just a a superficial fix when he was brought in. So he's not for the long term. So Eke Gondiwan will go. Kyle Walker is already was one leg outside. John Stones, a lot of injuries, and now Kevin De Bruyne going. I think he wants to. And Bernardo Silva is not happy. He wants to move on.
Ederson could also.
Ederson is not proving. He's not improving, and this season has really shown that he is not what we all thought he is. So there will be a lot of shipments going on.
But one great or one legend who is also leaving his club after 25 years association with Bayern Munich is Germany great Thomas Müller. 35 years. 35. Played the most games in the history of the club, 743, and he stayed on their all-time scorers list with 247 goals. He's always played as a second striker,
auxiliary. He has always been a second
Bayern Academy.
Yeah,
and
one man team, and I really admire him. I love him. Look, he's been in the game for far too long, and when you look at him, you think at a point look, this dude is over 40 years. He needs to retire, but that's because he started very early.
Yeah,
he picked very early. Yes, he picked very early, just like Kingsley Coman. They've been there for so long.
Sometimes you feel that we knew too much.
Yes, and they've seen it all, they've done it all. They want every single trophy a player should win for both club and country. He's won the Euros for Germany, the World Cup for Germany, the Super Cup. He's won. Then when you look at the club level, countless number of league trophies, the DFB Pokal, the Super Cup, the Champions League. So I think it's about the right time he just hung this boot, or maybe take on go to a lesser known club or mid-table club just to keep fit, or any other thing.
Where I forgot to ask, where do you think De Bruyne will be living for?
I think he will go to Spain.
Spain?
Yeah, I think he will go to Spain.
You don't think Saudi Arabia?
He's not the type that looks like he needs that money. It's not fancy. He doesn't. And look, he was paid well, or he's been paid well by the Etihad guys. So
£400,000 a week.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah. Probably, if he wants to just, if he doesn't have any. He feels, look, the senior national team, I don't care if they call me or not. He can hang his boots in the Americas, or as you rightly said, make some 1 year cool cash from the Gulf. It won't kill a bird.
Minus tax.
Yes.
Minus tax
yes,
cash.
Yes. 1 year, just 1 year, and you can get everything you got in 15, 16 years playing career.
Well, Everton have equalized, so it's 1-1. Everton 1, Arsenal 1.
They got a penalty. I think Lewis.
Ndiaye has.
But Lewis was a bit clumsy with his challenge, and then he got them on track against Arsenal. I think Arteta has. He's got the Madrid game
on his mind.
So he has tricked the team a little bit, and Everton want to. They're on ascendancy until the Liverpool defeats. They won 9 games unbeaten. So let's see what they will be able to do. There's a lot of minutes left to play.
Okay, in the Ghana Premier League, the Hearts of Oak and then Midiama game will now take place at the Accra Sports Stadium after a security briefing with key stakeholders that was held yesterday. So that decision is coming after the National Sports Authority initially withheld clearance for Hearts of Oak to use the venue earlier this week. So the club was denied access for the outstanding match week 21 fixture pending the security assessment where they played at the Tuba AstroTurf against Nations FC. And so with the necessary clearance now granted, they are returning to their traditional home ground for today's clash against Midiama. So take note of that. Accra Hearts of Oak game against Midiama will be played at the Accra Sports Stadium. I'm sure the Hearts of Oak fans,
they will lose.
Why?
Did you watch their game against Nations FC?
Why?
No, did you watch their game against Nations FC? Goat Stars. They've won just one game in the last 5 matches. That's so awful.
Damning.
And the sad part is, I don't know if still I've not heard anything whether Benjamin Asare was injured or it was just tactical. Why they kept him out of the game? Look, I'm tired with Accra folk.
Which tactical? And then also we have Hearts of Lions against Asante Kotoko at the Kpando Stadium. That's also on that game is on Sunday, right?
Yes, Sunday.
And then Dreams against Gold Stars. Samatex will play Lions. Young Apostles against Legon Cities. Baseki Holy Stars, they welcome Brekum Chelsea. Diana against Vision FC. And then on Monday we have Nations FC against Karela United. So those are the games for the GPL week 26. And if you look at the league log, 6 other teams apart from Kotoko are all in contention for the title. Kotoko are leading with just a point, and the rest of the teams can also stake a claim to that. Depending on what happens this weekend, we could be seeing a new
league table toppers.
So we'll see how that one will also go. Okay. Now, last week, that devastating news of the death of the Nigerian boxer. We're trying to speak to the communications director of the Ghana Boxing Authority, Mohammed Lamte. We understand the NBCC, the Nigerian Boxing Authority, are blaming Ghana or the GBA for what happened. They think that they did not do due diligence,
precaution, and all that.
And so they are blaming the GBA for not doing the right things. We hear the autopsy is out already, and a lot of things will be coming in.
But according to the autopsy report, it says
a heart problem,
the cardiac arrest. But we're still waiting for more investigation to be done and see if. But that's so very bad news for the sports. This is the first of its kind that it has happened in Ghana, and it's really sad.
Whatever was not done right, I think that this should be a learning curve. It should teach whoever is in charge and those in charge to ensure that the next time, if things really were not done the way they were supposed to be done, then they should be learning from this and ensure that such occurrences do not happen again, because it doesn't speak well of us. In the English Premier League also, there's the Manchester Derby. Can United claim a league double over City for the first time in 5 years? Leaders Liverpool, they take on Fulham
at Craven Cottage.
Yes, and then for the La Liga, Barcelona's 21-game unbeaten run will also face a test today when they come up against Real Betis. You know, Real Betis have already beaten the Catalans, Madrid title rivals Real and Atletico, and so it's really a tough game. We'll see how that one will go. Barcelona, Real Betis. Give me your prediction, then we'll wrap up.
Barcelona in hot streak now, and I feel they will be thinking of their upcoming Champions League game, so some legs will be rested. It will be very interesting to see how they will be able to overcome this Real Betis side, but I think Barcelona to run away probably with a 2-1 win.
Manchester Derby,
draw.
Liverpool, Fulham.
It's a game I holding my breath for, probably to end in a draw.
A draw, eh?
Yeah.
Why?
Because Fulham are really playing good football. Their game against Arsenal, they pushed Arsenal very hard. Could have even ended the game 2-2. And with Liverpool currently misfiring, we are not scoring as I would love it. So if we get a draw, that would be a good result for us.
A draw will be a good result.
At the Craven Cottage.
Okay, all right. We are wrapping up shortly, but I was trying to retrieve something that I'm not really getting. Okay. Right. So, thank you so much for joining us this morning. In fact, right, a few comments here. Let me read them. What a great program indeed. From Kojo Asempa Furniture Works, Sedum Kumase. And congratulations to Dr. Pata. Okay, and then the best show is airborne here loud and clear inside Indianapolis, Kumasi Town, so Kesbin Junction. Okay, thank you very much. And a few other messages, but time for us to wrap up, make way for the news, after which Atsi will come through with Diego Paca Benin. Diego Paca Benin. You know that man?
Yeah, that's Don Diego de Azambuja. He's a big man. He's a big man.
A big man, but you know they make the big man.
You know they make the boys feel. No, we for beseech the studio one of these days.
Be some way, that guy. I don't know. Be some way. Diego Paca Benin, aka Diego Paca Togo. Okay. Happy birthday to Daniela Amu Bakun, a giver and thoughtful personality. Much love to you, dear. I pray this year brings you the best of life everywhere you find yourself. A perfect soul indeed. God bless you as you celebrate this day. Have a wonderful birthday, Daniela Amu Bakun. And this one is coming through to you from Theophilus here at Asaase 99.5. My name is Eko Isilfi. You heard James Soa. I was ably produced by Princeton Redu. God willing, we'll be here again next week with another edition of your weekend's most insightful and thought-provoking sports analysis show on radio. You have a wonderful weekend and keep listening to Asaase Radio.